Today is September 22nd, 2021. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, today I'd like to talk about two things. The first is that on Monday, the Supreme Court announced that it will hear oral argument on the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Association. That's the Mississippi 15-week abortion ban case. But they're going to hear this on December 1st. So this is coming. This is something that the pro-abortion forces are dreading, fearing apocalyptic doom. And actually, we're hoping that it is apocalyptic doom, because we are hoping that a conservative majority Supreme Court will use the Dobbs case to overturn Roe v. Wade once and for all. So be praying about this, and maybe as we approach that date, there should be a lot of fasting and praying that the Supreme Court would make the right decision. The second item is more distressing news coming out of Washington. Yesterday, the House Rules Committee voted 9-4 to send a radical pro-abortion bill onto the full House. The bill is called the Women's Health Protection Act. And actually, it does very little protecting, especially for the unborn child, because this bill would be so radical, so extreme, and it would outlaw practically every pro-life law in all 50 states. Now, let me just give you a rundown on what this bill would do if it were to pass. It would eliminate or gut all parental consent or parental notification laws in the whole country. And some of these states that have had parental consent laws have had them for 20 years or even 30 years. So it's a long-standing policy, parental consent or notification. It would eliminate informed consent laws. You know, the laws that would just inform women the mechanics of the procedure, the risks, the complications, things like that. That would be gone. It would strike down any state law that requires abortion clinics to offer a patient the right to view an ultrasound of her unborn baby. Now, these laws cannot force the woman to see the image of the ultrasound, but it would offer her the choice. Well, that law would be eliminated. It would force doctors and nurses to perform abortions or lose their jobs. It would require Catholic hospitals to provide abortions or lose public funding. And it would permanently ban the Hyde Amendment. Remember, the Hyde Amendment is that 1976 amendment that prohibits federal funds or taxpayer funding for abortions. And that, obviously, that Hyde Amendment is currently being discussed and debated in the Senate, because the House has already approved this radical bill to eliminate a Hyde Amendment wording for the federal budget, but it hasn't come to a vote in the U.S. Senate yet. So, even though I think the House very well could pass this Women's Health Protection Act, because I don't think there's enough moderate Democrats to oppose it. I really don't. The Democratic Party has become so pro-abortion that there's hardly anybody left. So if it passes the House, it goes to the Senate. And I think it will die in the Senate for three reasons. One, Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Pennsylvania's Senator Bob Casey will vote no. Casey's been a huge disappointment, but I think because this bill is so extreme and so radical that even Casey would vote no. So that's number one. Number two, is the GOP in the Senate will mount a filibuster, and the Democrats don't have enough votes to override or to block the filibuster. And 3, the 2 Republican pro-choice senators, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, even they would vote no because, true, they're pro-choice, but they are moderate pro-choice lawmakers. And here again, this bill is way, way, way too extreme for even them to sign on. So for those 3 reasons, I do think the bill will be defeated in the Senate. Now, of course, if the Senate were to approve amendments that would weaken the bill substantially, well then all bets are off because then it would have to go back to a Senate House Conference Committee to iron out the differences. And I just don't see the House members, the radical pro-abortion House members, be willing to compromise on some of those theoretical amendments. So I do think the bill will die in the Senate, and which is a good thing. The radical Democrats are pushing their agenda way beyond what is normal when you consider the fact that the House, the Democrats lost many House seats back in 2020, and they have a very, very slim majority in the House, and the Senate is a 50-50 tie. The only reason the Democrats control is because they have the Vice President Harris, to cast the tie-breaking vote. So this is hardly a mandate for the Democrats to be pushing this kind of an agenda. So those are the 2 big news. December 1st, the Dobbs case will be heard in an oral argument, and we have the Democrats going crazy again on abortion, radical extreme positions that the vast majority of Americans do not support. So with that, I'll let you go. I will see you next time. Goodbye.